Well, here's the finished product out of Glow's Kindred Kitchen. It is roasted chicken, asparagus, and rice with gravy. And if you watch the video, you'll learn how to make this and then the actual recipe for it. And it is very good. It's delicious.
Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Today we're going to be making roasted chicken in the oven for dinner, and along with that we're going to be having baked rice and asparagus. So I'm going to first of all be putting the chicken in the oven, and I have purchased just about it's a little over 3-pound chicken. And we have found that we really like these chickens. They're young, they're tender, they're just very easy to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing you do when you get a chicken is you open it up and you wash it out really good and pat it dry. I will tell you that for this particular chicken, for some reason this brand, I've been getting necks out of it. And that's something that's very unusual anymore. Usually when you purchase a whole chicken, you don't get any giblets or a neck or anything. But I went ahead and cut off the neck that was attached to this, and I put that in a bag that I keep different pieces of chicken and produce for when I make chicken soup or stock. So that's going to go in there. And there's an old wives' tale that if you put in a chicken neck into your stock when you're ill, that it will help you feel much better. That includes if you have the common cold or the flu or whatever. So I just thought I would pass that little bit of information on. So first of all, when I start this, after I've patted everything dry, I sprinkle salt into the inside of the cavity along with freshly ground pepper, and I went ahead and grounded my pepper up. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of sprinkle it in kind of liberally all around. And the same with the pepper. And if you don't like pepper, don't put a whole lot in, but it does help. There. So then the next thing that I do is I mix up since this is just a small chicken, I have 1 tablespoon of softened butter, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and I do not use extra virgin when I'm baking or roasting like this. I use just the standard one that you use for grilling and marinades. And then I also add to it, I have been using this for a long time. It's a Yoshida's gourmet sauce. It's like a teriyaki soy sauce, and I find it goes really well with poultry, fish, pork, beef. It's just a really good marinade for anything. So, and then in here, besides that, I have thyme, marjoram, a little bit of lemon peel, a little bit of sage, and also a little bit of ground mustard. And I'm going to go ahead and, I didn't put the sage or the ground mustard, and I thought I would do it now just so you can see what I put in. It's not even 1/8 of a teaspoon, just enough to enhance. And the same with the ground mustard. So we'll mix that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this underneath the skin of the chicken. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And before I even got started, I took my ring off. I don't like to wear any kind of rings when I'm doing this kind of stuff or making bread or baking of any kind. So what you do is you work your skin up away from the meat itself. And you just work your hands down in here and kind of break up that membrane. You can actually go down into the leg as well. You can see how my fingers like going down in there. And we'll do it on the other side as well. If you should happen to break the skin, it's no big deal. I'm going to just turn this a moment so I can finish up. And you can see how I'm getting my finger down in there. And there's many different ways that you can season chicken. So a lot of times I'll do a pesto underneath here like this. But today this is what I had on hand, and we're going to be doing a gravy to go along with the rice. So I thought it would work real well. That's kind of sad, but when I opened up this chicken today, I noticed that his little wing got broke there, but it'll be okay. So anyway, then I take this and I spoon it underneath. And I'm just going to like massage it down in there. And it really helps with the flavor of the meat as it's roasting. And then whatever's left, I just put on the outside. I rub it in good, and then, excuse me for a minute, I'm going to put this in my sink with the warm, sudsy water. And well, I'll be okay still. And then I'm just going to rub this in to the outside. Smells good. Then I put it in my cast iron pan. I've had this pan for over 40 years. I use it for everything. And it's just a nice size. You can put a roast in this, a chicken like this. You can do pieces of chicken and fry it on the stove or bake it. There's just so many different applications you can use for this. I have several different pieces of cast iron, but I would say that this is actually my very favorite. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Wash my hands. I got so much stuff on them, I just didn't want to put that all in the sink there. Now I have my oven preheating to 375 degrees. A lot of times people will roast their chickens up to 475, even 500 degrees. I do not, especially with a small chicken like this. I find that 375 or even 350 is plenty. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven now, and it will roast in there for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And then at the end of that time, we'll take it out and let it rest, and I'll make the gravy and everything to go with that. And in the meantime, we'll be doing up rice to go in the oven with this to bake. So it's really an easy meal. So anyway, we'll see you back in a while. Bye. Hi, welcome back. Well, our roasted chicken is all done now. And I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the pan, and we're going to make our gravy. And it's been in for 1.5 hours. And look how pretty that is.
Looks pretty. The wing is still broke.
So, see how pretty that is? I'm going to go ahead and cover it up with foil. By doing that, when you cover with foil, as it's cooling, it helps so all the juices stay in the chicken itself. So that's what we're going to do now. And prior to you guys coming back, I did check the temperature on this, and it was at 180 degrees, which is what you want to make sure that your chicken is well done. So you just cover it up tightly with your foil. And I'm going to go ahead and set it over here on this pot holder. Because with the granite countertops, it will cool it off too fast otherwise. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner on. And we're going to make the gravy to go along with this. So
What setting is the burner on, Miss Glow?
Medium. And that's a great question. Thank you. What I'm doing right now is just trying to get all the bits and pieces up off of the bottom of it. A lot of this that you see in here is juice. There is some fat, and that's okay. You want that. So this container here has flour in it, and Reason I keep it in this, it's just easier for me as I'm making gravies and stuff. So now that this has come to a boil, the reason why it came to a boil so quickly is because this pan is screaming hot. So I'm going to start off with, this is probably like 1/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Sometimes I do flour and sometimes I do cornstarch. A lot of it just really depends on who's going to be eating dinner with us. We do have a family member who is not able to eat gluten, so I try to always keep that in mind when he's over here eating, which we love to have him come. So we use cornstarch then. The main thing to do right now is to make sure that you incorporate all that flour into your drippings and the fat, and you're going to brown it at the same time. I find that a spatula, for me at least, works very well for this. And make sure you always use a pot holder when you have cast iron, because when you're cooking, because it gets very hot. And I'm using the bottom of my spatula to kind of smash in and get that all incorporated in there good so we don't have any lumps. Nothing worse than lumpy gravy. So you can tell that, see how it's really starting to bubble and starting to turn a little bit in color? That's a good sign that your flour, see right there how it's changing color, is cooking. And that's what you want. You don't want the raw flavor of the flour in that. And because this pan was so hot to start with, this does not take long at all to brown and to cook that, incorporate all that flour into it. So I think it's ready now for us to go ahead and add the milk. And I have whole milk, and so that's what I'm going to be adding. And just stir it in slowly. You can hear it sizzle.
Sure can. Smells good.
I do a little at a time. See how it thickens right up? And you can use like chicken stock, or to thicken this if you wanted to instead of this, but usually if I'm using flour, I go with this. Or another nice thing too is if you were baking, or not baking, but boiling potatoes to make mashed potatoes for dinner, that potato water is delicious in gravies.
It is.
And very nutritious too, because of the potassium. But tonight we're having rice, so I didn't have that, but that's something I save too, is my potato water for different things, like potato bread. When you're baking potato bread, it's delicious. One of my grandmas always, when we would go visit her, they lived on a farm, and one of the dishes she would make for us was fried chicken with chicken gravy, and I always think of her when I'm doing this. And I must say, her chicken gravy and chicken was the best. She was a very good cook. I'm just going to wait till this comes to a good simmer again. We'll see what the consistency is. When gravies are sitting too, after you remove them from the heat, they will thicken up. So think about that when you're making your gravies. It's best to have them a little thinner, because when you remove it to serve it at the table, it will thicken up. And I'm going to go ahead and taste this to see if the seasonings are right. I'm going to have to let it cool a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and stir while I'm waiting. And you can tell it needs a little bit more milk. It's getting pretty thick. I'm not as good with my left hand as I am with my right when it comes to stirring. I've been really working on becoming more ambidextrous, but still have a ways to go on that. But here, I'm going to taste this now. I think it needs just a little bit more salt, but other than that, I think we're good to go. So about 1/4 teaspoon. Not even that, more like 1/8 probably it was. Let's try it again. Very good. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat down on this. We have about 10 more minutes to let our chicken rest. And then I'll be cutting that up. And I'm so glad you guys came in this evening to watch this. And I hope you've learned, a little something about making gravy. And at the very end, I'll show you a plate with all of it on there. Thank you. Bye. Hi, welcome back to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, here's our finished product. We have the roasted chicken, there's a leg and a thigh, the rice and gravy, and the steamed asparagus. And I just wanted to share with you too, I didn't mention the brand name of the chicken that I cooked, but it's called Claxton, C-L-A-X-T-O-N. And of all places, I found it at Walmart, and that company is from Georgia. But anyway, thank you so much for coming, and if you enjoyed this, would you please like and subscribe to our channel? We would really appreciate it. Bye!